Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Yeah. You have just stepped out into the world of chaos. Where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
Yup, and we can't forget the wheelchair classic too. That was
Facts.
vicious.
Facts.
That was vicious. I still got my jacket upstairs too, man.
That's right. So who was on your team on Go to Hoops?
So it was basically, I played for Gauchos and Golden Hoops.
Okay.
So I be like my man Ron Arnold. Shout out Big Ron. Ron played Rice, legend. Played at St. Francis in Brooklyn. Cornelius Muller from Zavarian.
Yes.
My man Andre McCullough.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, to name a few, man. So Harlem Week, man. That was always special, man, with the Golden Hoops, man.
How did you do?
We lost, man. Actually, I think we lost. I think we might have lost to the church, to Malik and them, I think, man. If I don't,
they was winning a lot back then.
Yeah. But I mean, listen, man. You couldn't look. It didn't take you too much effort, man, to find talent, man. These teams were stacked, man.
That's right. And it was, I guess, you get a little bragging rights when you win, but just to be selected and playing in those games, you already got a good look.
Yeah, no question, man. You get ready, for the next battle,
Right. So now your senior year is coming up.
Yeah.
What you thinking about? What is the process like?
Oh, man.
You put in the work in all those tournaments, right? So what's the process like now?
Yeah. So, all the colleges, they're calling. I might have had around 20 D1 offers, sprinkled from different conferences, blessed to have had that opportunity. So I'll fast forward. When I started narrowing down, I started doing visits at my house, with my family. These are kind of some of the schools that I was very serious about. And then coach the season, I would meet with some schools at St. Raymond's and trying to sift through. And, I really helped myself that summer, as far as what I did at the right time. So when I narrowed down the schools, like my 5, because, you get 5 official visits.
Right.
I had West Virginia with Gail Catlett. Ron Brown was recruiting me hard there. So West Virginia was my top 5. Had Northeastern, Carl Fogel there. Rhode Island with Tom Penders and Al Skinner, right?
Yeah.
James Madison, and this is when Lefty Drizel, right
Definitely.
after he left Maryland, then he went to James Madison. And then I would say, with all due respect, the one outlier was Manhattan College. So a lot of most people don't know that I actually signed with Manhattan College my letter of intent during the early signing period in November of my senior year. So, back then, you didn't have a lot of latitude to get out of your letter of intent as you do right now. This day and age with the NCAA, things a little bit more flexible. You could be nimble, and if the coach leaves, the NCAA is a little bit more understanding for circumstances that are beyond the player's control.
Right.
But back then, the letter of intent, they had all of the schools, the Division I schools by conference at the bottom, and that let you know exactly who participated within the letter of intent. Every school, Division I school, did not participate with the letter of intent. So make a long story short, Manhattan College, I knew in my heart that I wanted to go away for college. I wanted to get out of the hood, get out of the city. My parents really tried to impress upon me that it's a big world out there, take advantage of this opportunity, and really strive to look for something where you could develop both, academically and athletically, out of New York City. So that's
Right.
why, you know, some of the other schools that I mentioned were appealing to me. Manhattan College, you could say they had the inside track because Bob Delabove was the head coach of Manhattan at the time.
Right.
And he was also a gentleman who was the former coach at St. Raymond's. So he was actually Gary Massey's varsity coach at St. Raymond's.
Right.
So he's a gentleman that knew me for a very long time. Again, I was a neighborhood guy. I grew up right in the neighborhood of St. Raymond's. So he knew me, he knew my family. And that summer when he saw my stock rising, he was saying to me, listen, I'm going to re-recruit you. I'm going to be recruiting you. And I was kind of like, you know, kind of shoo him off a little bit respectfully. I mean, he was family, but I was like, you know, I'm leaving. You know, I'm going out of, I'm not staying home. I'm going out of town. So make a long story short, you know, Billy Wheeler, my guy Billy Wheeler that played at Manhattan College.
Definitely.
One of Bishop Loughlin's finest.
Facts. So, the Wheeler brothers.
So, yeah, no question. So B-Dub, B-Dub, you know, him and Greg Rock, you know, rest in peace, Greg Rock and Ed Lawson and them cats up there in Manhattan.
Right.
Man, they used to be calling me round the clock, man. Round the clock. Actually, when I went up to Manhattan, that was the first official visit. So I had all my visits all lined up, and I took the Manhattan one first. Man, them cats rolled out the red carpet for me, man. And then before you know it, I started having second thoughts about, wow, you know, maybe it would be nice to kind of stay home and play in my backyard. And then when I started, you know, listening to them about the visions that they had for the school, so back then Manhattan was in the MAC conference. So at the time, the MAC conference, like LaSalle, and you had Lionel Simmons at LaSalle, and, you know, Lionel Simmons scored 3,000 points in college, man. So he brought a lot of notoriety to that conference. And I started thinking about the timing being good, and, you know, Delabove was kind of promising me that they were going to be playing a lot of games in Madison Square Garden, and, you know, it started to be, the appeal started looking good where, you know what, if I can come here at the ground floor and kind of be a big fish in a small pond and be part of this turnaround, it could pay dividends. You know, I mean, obviously, first and foremost, Manhattan College is a stellar academic institution. So I knew I was checking that box first and foremost. But then when you look subsequent to that, I was looking at all the athletic opportunities and all the alumni stuff. So when I started thinking long and hard, I kind of shocked the world, man, and ended up canceling all my visits and committed early, man, to Manhattan. Yeah. So, you know, a lot of people, you know, a lot of colleges, they knew that the only reason I was going to Manhattan College, because I had bigger schools that were recruiting me, but they knew that my relationship with Delabove was the primary reason on why I opted to take a chance on them, you know? So I ended up signing early. I had a great all-city year at St. Raymond's, you know, because a lot of times when you sign early, you get to relax.
Yes.
And then you get a chance, you know, once that ink is dry, brother, now you get a chance to just go out there, enjoy your senior year, and just play ball, you know? And play ball is what I did. I had a great year. The team had a great year. And then fast forward, I'm in I go to a AAU tournament, Riverside Church. So I'm out there, out in Houston, Texas. It's like Garfield Smith, Pat Alphonse, Jerome Holmes, rest in peace, my man from Tolentine, Carlos Easterling, Corey Allen, my man Keith Stroud, big shout out my guy Keith Stroud. We all out there.
Yes, definitely.
And we end up winning the tournament out in Houston. So we fly back to LaGuardia Airport, and then when I get to the, you know, when we land, I grab a New York Post, and on the back of the paper, it said Delabove resigns from Manhattan.
Wow.
Exactly.
What? And I guess that what was going through your mind right then.
I'm like, wait a minute. Now this is April. Like, I'm about to graduate in like less than 2 months.
Right.
So I'm like, well, hold up for a second, man. This is crazy. So obviously, you know, I was in shock. I was disappointed. Felt betrayed until I learned more about, you know, why he did what he did. you know, and he was getting pressure from the president. You know, they didn't have the greatest year, and you know they were going to fire him, so he ended up resigning, and he felt horrible because I was like his prize recruit, and he knew I was taking a chance.
Right.
So now obviously I'm in a pickle here because I already signed a letter of intent last November, right? So Gary DeCesar in the NCA, and you're trying to see exactly what recourse I had. You know, what were my options? So basically, the way it worked out was that I was going to have to sit out a year. Still had to get released from my letter of intent, but I was going to have to sit out a year if I would have went to any school that was part of the letter of intent. So everybody started, which was unfair to me because I did nothing wrong.
Right?
Right?
It wasn't in your control.
Yeah, man, and it wasn't like I started matriculating at the school and nothing. I'm still a senior in high school.
Right.
So fast forward, everybody's calling me, even the schools, Rhode Island, Northeastern, and West Virginia. They're like, look, the scholarship is still here for you, but you might have to sit out a year. And I'm like, do I really want to go somewhere where I'm only going to have 3 years of eligibility when I did nothing wrong, right?
Right.
So there were some schools, and this is where Drexel comes in. So Drexel was recruiting me heavy since like my junior year. Jay Wright, Villanova head coach. So a lot of people don't know Jay Wright was the assistant coach at Drexel way before he even went to, take on this legendary coaching career at Villanova.
Right.
So I knew Jay, and Drexel gets back in the picture. So Manhattan College is still communicating with me because they're like, look, we still want you. All right. We know Delaware was, one of the reasons you was coming here, but, we still want you to be a part. Just be patient. Let us name a coach before you make any quick decisions. And to be honest with you, emotionally, I was just removed from that. I felt like this was somebody telling me, you know what, I should have went with my first hunch, which was to, matriculate out of town to another city and pursue my academic and athletic career. So as Manhattan's working, the president's calling me, they're trying to make sure that they stay in communication with me and make sure that I'm being patient. I go down and visit Drexel because come to find out, Drexel did not participate with the letter of intent. So I would not have to sit out if I would have ended up going there.
Right.
So Gary DeCesar said to me, he said, listen, it don't hurt to go down there and visit. They wanted you badly from day one. So why don't you just go out there while we sort through all of the other politics with the NCAA? So PS went down. I think it was their banquet, the basketball banquet for Drexel that weekend. And they couldn't have treated me any better. It was a similar situation from a playing time standpoint, whereas if I went in there and did what I needed to do, I was going to have a great opportunity to start as a freshman, that's all you want, right? I mean, I don't need no promises. I don't need no promises, but if I know that if I do my part, that I could possibly be poised to come in right away and be part of that nucleus, I wasn't going to pass up on that,